Hello, Disney friends. I'm Sam from Sam's Disney Diary. That is the blue-haired blogger himself, Greg from Fantasyland News. We have breaking news this week. Things just dropped this morning. Greg, what is happening this week, March the 26th, 2025?
Dude, I don't even know where to start with this, Sam. We got a lot of breaking news. Should we start with the Marvel breaking news that Loki is going to be in the new Doomsday Avengers? We got X-Men coming. Beast is going to be in it. I am out of my mind about a Marvel. But before we get to that, we got to get to Walt Disney Studios. All right, Space Ranger spin is going down. We're going to get a whole new Space Ranger spin. We have Sam, where will you be on May 27th, 2025?
You know, I hope that I'm at Hollywood Studios because there's a lot of new things opening there. We're going to talk about that. And Greg, you got your hands on a Thumper popcorn bucket and an Easter Eggstravaganza. Did that all happen this week?
Not only that, man, this Snow White took over Disney Springs. We got mermaid merch. We got Hollywood Studios information. We got Disney Pez. Hey, on Living with the Land, we can go hunt pastels right now. There's more merch, popcorn buckets, and popcorn buckets, Sam. And let's be right back and start this thing because that's a lot to go through. Oh, and we have the Final Four to talk about.
That's right. It's the Final Four of Attractions Madness 2025. Who's going to make the Final Four? We know, and we're going to vote on who gets to the championship. All that and more coming up next. All right, Greg, here we go. There's so much to be talking about this week. Where do you want to start? You want to start with the Marvel stuff? Because that just dropped. I didn't even have it in my presentation here. Well, what's happening?
So today we got treated to a Marvel Live that took 5 hours to complete. And all you did was see these Hollywood director type chairs, and they had just like a name across it. And slowly you would see like Anthony Mackie's name, and then you would see Danny Rivera's name, and then you would see, then it got to the ending and you started seeing some pretty important names like Patrick Stewart's name, who played Professor X in the old Fox X-Men Marvel X-Men movies. Then you saw Ian McKellen, who played Magneto, Kelsey Grammer, who played Beast. Then you got the Fantastic Four. Pedro Pascal's name was dropped in there. Then you got to big names. Chris Hemsworth is coming back as Thor.
Wow.
Tom Hiddleston is coming back as Loki. And then, of course, they end it with Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doomsday himself in the new Avengers Doomsday. So they basically announced the cast for Avengers Doomsday, and it was amazing. There, Gambit and Nightcrawler are back. Now, I mean, look, I'm an old school, like, bring me the X-Men, bring me Beast. I saw Beast, I saw Kelsey Grammer's name, and I popped hardcore, man. I was so happy to see
So
Beast.
is this like how does this fit into the MCU? Is this like wrapping up the third phase or something? Or
No,
where
this
did
is phase 5 and 6.
Oh my gosh.
I think this
Okay.
starts phase 6. So what's really cool about this is it is
I lost
bringing
track.
in the X-Men
Okay.
into full on into the Marvel universe, into the Disney Marvel universe, into
So
the
did they make
Kevin
a deal with
Feige.
Sony or whoever had them to get those characters back? Or
Fox had them. No, I mean, when Disney
Fox had
bought
them.
Fox,
Okay.
they took control of X-Men.
Awesome. I was
So
not
you
aware
just
of
haven't seen him. Like, you got to see Kelsey Grammer at the end of Eternals. He popped up for literally 2 seconds, and yeah, this is Marvel has not been that great. I know that the new movie is not doing, or new show. I forget it's see, that's how bad it is. It's apparently a
Eternals.
great show. No, the
Eternals?
new show that's out, Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Daredevil is not doing so well with audiences. Reviewers love it, but it's not being watched. So Marvel's kind of a little bit down right now. And look, you put an announcement like this, and you mentioned some of these names, especially Fantastic Four showing up. Their movies due out this summer. And
Right.
then, like, we have another year and a half or 2 to go before this comes out, but the hype starts now.
That's awesome.
And before we get on, Sam, by the way, where can people listen to this on the podcast?
Oh, that's right. I love that. So Sam's Disney Diary, the podcast, is where you'll find this. And if you're listening right now, you know that there's a YouTube counterpart because we do have some visuals, but Greg and I are going to do our best to talk through what it is that we're seeing. Because look, sometimes you're on the road and there's not much you can get to. So March
We're
26th,
rapid firing
2025,
this one tonight because we got to
we
get to that
are.
final 4.
And let's jump right into breaking news because this was earlier today. And what we got were official announcements of a couple of things we knew were happening in the quote unquote summer of 2025. But we now have official opening date for the Little Mermaid musical adventure and the Villains Unfairly Ever After stage shows, both at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, we now know opening date of May 27th, 2025. Get your reservations now if you have annual pass. I look, these shows promising to be amazing. Little Mermaid there, it's all new puppetry, all new sets, new design. They're bringing back the giant Ursula
Yes.
animatronic, so that's going to look great. I hope the dog is there, Eric, and the dog.
Oh, I'm
are back.
sure that he'll be there.
Yeah.
There's also
And
a couple
then
of new songs that they announced. I don't know that they had done that before, but
Kiss the
Two
Girls
Girl,
is new for the show. It was never in the show before, so it's
it
going to
was
be
not.
in this show.
And
Yeah,
so is, I think it's Daughters of Triton is the other song that I had to look up.
right.
Find out that, yeah, it was in The Little Mermaid. It's the song at the very beginning where there's
They announced all the names of all the
7
girls.
mermaids. Yeah, and they all start with an A. And of course, Ariel's last, and she's not
Yeah.
there because she's disobeying her dad and she's off playing
I
with
think it's
Who's
like
Explorer.
Ariel and Alexandra and Aquafina and Aardvark. I can't name
I
it.
don't think it was Aardvark, but that is one of the shows. Of course, this is going into the theater that was the Voyage of the Little Mermaid, which has been closed since COVID. And there's been nothing there, and there's been a void in the animation courtyard. This is going to bring some entertainment, excitement back to that corner of
Yeah,
Hollywood.
we've been watching the new marquee. We've watched the old stuff come down. We've been looking forward to seeing the new marquee go up. All the old vestiges of the show are now gone. I'm excited for this one. I'm really excited
Me
for this
too.
one. The other one is the Disney Villains, Unfairly Ever After.
Unfairly Ever After.
And this one, if you go to fantasylandnews.com, I have broken down
Yes.
every villain that you find in the image, the other image that they released that has 56 villains.
That's a
And some
lot
of
of
them
villains, man.
are villains that have never been seen inside of a Disney park before. So we are promised some deep cuts on the villainy coming to this show. The question that becomes, Sam, which show are you going to first?
It's a great question because It's genius of Disney to do this because they're going to split the crowd into two different places. You're either going to Animation Courtyard or you're going all the way back just past the Rock and Roller Coaster, because this is going into Sunset Showcase or Place, I forget, which is where the Lightning McQueen adventure was. So they're going to split it up. It's almost a flip a coin for me, Greg.
It is a flip a coin. What are you a princess fan or are you a evil queen fan? It's such a hard one. I don't know.
What's interesting about
you know
this
what? I'm
one-
going villains first.
Villains first, got it.
Yeah,
no problem.
Because that's brand new. That is completely brand new. So I'm excited about that. I know the Little Mermaid story, and I'm telling you,
it's going to be great.
Right, part of your world, the Jodie Benson version was what got me into Disney as a 13-year-old boy back in 89, whatever that was. How old was I then? I think I was 13 or 14. But yeah, I fell in love with Jodie Benson then, and since then I've gotten to interview her, and she's just as sweet and amazing as you would think. And yeah,
That's pretty
so
amazing. And of course,
I have a thing for the Little Mermaid, and yeah, I got a thing for the mermaid.
Yeah, you do. Although it looks like you're going to villains first if you're going to be hanging out with Holly, which I get that. It's not a problem. Now, the one interesting thing here, Greg, we had talked about this being sort of a test for the villains and interactions as they're preparing Villains Land over at the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
You mentioned 50 villains. My question is, how many are going to be face characters versus just represented in these screens that we see in this concept art? There's lots of ways they can take this.
There's lots of ways. I think we're going to get 10 to 12 real villains on stage. You will get your Jafar, your Cruellas, Maleficent,
all the villains you saw on Valentine's Day. It's like Valentine's Day, Greg. Just put them all in the show.
Exactly what it is. And then you follow it up with Valentine's Day a few hours later, and you go see the Little Mermaid. And there's Princess Ariel and Prince Eric just hanging out. I am excited to see, Sam, if they do a meet and greet with these, because there's space at both places.
Yeah, there is.
I'm excited.
It'll be interesting to see how many shows they have a day, how that changes over time. Because look, first this summer, this is going to be the thing to see at Walt Disney World, right? That's why they're opening it on Memorial Day weekend. But what happens, in the fall? Is this, did they cut back the number of shows? Do they still have long lines? It'll be
I have heard rumors are spreading that the villain show is around 40 minutes.
That's so you're
That's
talking
a hefty chunk of change, especially with live actors on stage.
So let me ask you this: how long is Beauty and the Beast, which is just across Sunset Boulevard? There is that around 35 minutes or so.
It's got to be. I think it's under 30, but I think 30 is right on the dot.
But you're talking about that type of production, right?
Oh yeah.
At least for the villains. I mean, I don't know how many performers, but if you think about it, the Beauty and the Beast show, they have a lot of actors out there and a lot of dancers and a lot of people doing things.
And the show runs what, 6 times a day, 5 times a day?
And it's full every time it runs. So that's
right. Whereas the Little Mermaid, I mean, we don't know if they're going to cut it down. They learned with Finding Nemo that having a 43-minute long show, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too long. So we'll wait and see what happens. All right. We also got, in the same kind of summertime thing, we also got some information about summertime ticket deals. And by the way, it's about that time for Disney World to say, hey, we got some great deals for 2025, 50% off kids tickets, 3 park days tickets, free dining. There's a bunch of things here, including discounts on resort rooms, including the dining that I mentioned, including the water parks ticket the day that you arrive. They're doing that again in 2025. And there was even more included here, Greg. What else did you want to cover?
Not only that was it included, but they also included annual pass holders and Florida residents can get some of these deals also. But
what is different, by the way.
Right.
That's usually not the case. Yeah.
Not the case. And the dining deal is actually pretty big, especially if you're planning a trip this summer. That's a big chunk of change you were saving. But to us, Sam, being character guys and loving seeing characters around, they did announce a bunch new character interactions that are going to be coming. I think they're calling this Cool Kids Summer or Cool Kids
Cool
Summer.
Kid Summer.
Cool
Are you a
Kids
cool
Summer.
kid?
No.
You used to be a cool kid.
No, I was always a dork. Thank you so much. I sit on here and talk about Disney. I'm still a dork, Sam. Cool Kid Summer. What they're doing is if you are staying at a Disney resort, you're going to be able to get into the parks early, and you're going to be able to do character meet and greets, especially for early park goers. Not only that, but they're going to have kids zones are going to be coming to Storybook Circus and in Tomorrowland. The one in Tomorrowland is going to be featuring Stitch. So we know that is a character interaction party area. But then the big one is over at Communicore Hall in Epcot.
Yes.
After Flower and Garden ends and before Food and Wine Festival begins, there's nothing going on. Disney has decided to make this into like the ultimate game party and play place, which is going to feature Goofy as he takes over Communicore Hall. And then it does say that they don't want to spoil all the surprises right now. So there's going to be a whole lot more details about these cool kid summer character interactions, what's going on at Communicore Hall at a later date. And it's just exciting.
Which tells me they don't know exactly what's going on yet. But that's okay. I love the marketing spin on that. But what's cool about this, Greg, is we had talked earlier that this year, for the first time since before COVID, Flower and Garden was going to end, and we would enter the Festival of No Festivals until Food and Wine started. So all summer, there's no festival. That's how Epcot used to be.
Yeah, it's almost June 1st until September 1st.
Yes, all summer. So now, what do you do with Communicore Hall? Because traditionally, it would go directly from the Orange Bird and flip over to the Muppets for the brew house. So now you got Goofy coming in between, and I like that. I can't wait to see what they do.
I like that. The only thing that we did not get an announcement on, with all these amazing announcements, was the opening day for Disney Starlight, which is the new nighttime parade coming to Magic Kingdom.
That's still summer, right?
They promised summer. It is still on for summer. They just now have added the late summer to it. Still summer. And Sam, rumors are, not to spread more rumors,
but let's do it,
of a drone show making its way back to Disney Springs.
You know, I had been wanting to start that rumor because Starlight was great. I liked it a lot. I hope that we get an announcement sometime soon.
Yeah,
100% agree. Holly is a cool kid. She belongs in that group, in that club. Another thing, Greg, that we did not expect to see happening is some changes coming to Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. And in fact, it is going to be in refurb from August of 2025 until sometime early in 2026.
Right.
That is pretty cool. Well, what's cool is what they're doing to it. I don't know if you have that press release in front of you.
I do. Of course I do.
Let's talk about what's happening, because I love this and I can't wait to talk about it.
Dude, we get a new character. I hate the name, but we get a new character. Aptly named Buddy. He is a friendly robot who's created by Imagineering and Pixar. He's going to play a new starring role on the Star Command team. We're getting new ride vehicles.
Yep.
Each enhanced vehicle will now be equipped with a video monitor to see what you're doing. There's going to be handheld blasters now instead of like
handheld blasters. You pick it up and you move it around and direct it. That's what Disneyland has always had over Walt Disney World.
And you're going to be able to differentiate who's shooting. You're going to have the red side and the green side.
Love
on
that.
Each one. There's new interactive targets. I don't know how easy it's going to be to get Galactic Hero anymore.
Figure it out. Look, Galactic Hero. And by the way, I posted over at Sam's Disney Diary. I did a video, dude, 7 years ago now. I'm like, holy cow, I've been doing this a long time, of where the big targets are in the existing Buzz Lightyear Space Bin, so you can get the nines across the board and be the Galactic Hero, which I did do on my last trip down. So I'm still capable of pulling that off, especially if the ride stops in the right place.
So I have never followed a guide to do it.
Oh, absolutely. I created the guide. Come on.
I had to wait till the ride broke down in front of Zurg with the one on the bottom that just
The
kept
one on the
going back
bottom.
and
That is
forth.
one of two that
And
will give you 100,000.
and it reset us at like 300,000. We ended up resetting back to 0, and I still got Galactic Hero.
It's 100,000. All you gotta do is hit that thing 10 times.
Yeah.
And there's another one coming in that'll give you 100. So you get that one 4 or 5 times, and then get the one on the bottom. You're a Galactic Hero every time. Just going.
I hope it's harder. I hope it becomes harder. So it's like, and you know what? Bring back the stickers.
Yes. Last time I went for a sticker, because of course I take a picture of my 999999, and they did not have a picture, but they had an I'm celebrating button Galactic Hero ready and just handed it to me. So the cast members have made up for the fact that there's not a sticker there. But here's the thing I wanted to talk about real quick. You and I have talked about it before, that I still believe there is no attraction that's duplicated in Walt Disney World and Disneyland that's better in Disney World. I love the original in Disneyland every time. Space Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, all of them I think are better if it's in both places. Space Ranger Spin was one that absolutely was better at Disneyland because you pick up the gun and you shoot the different targets. This may now, after refurbishment, be better than its Disneyland counterpart. And that makes me super excited about what's coming to this attraction. I love it.
There's a debate to be had on some of those attractions.
I know for Pirates that you do. I'm still, it's a small world, better in Disneyland every time. Space Mountain, better in Disney.
I don't know, man.
Land.
I like my original Small World out here. I don't need to go outside.
It's not original. They made the facade look like California. It's not original. The original one that was in the World's
They don't
Fair
even have the original one in
City,
California anymore. What is it? Like Groot's on there. There's a bunch of Disney characters on there.
Which makes it that much better.
No, come on. Keep it original with Mary Blair. Come on. I want tradition.
They're done in the style of Mary Blair.
And Space Mountain is I give you 100%. It is much better in California because I can't even ride the one out here anymore.
I understand, and I could go down the list of others. I know Pirates is the one you and I go back and forth on. The Tiki Room is better. Come on, it's awesome. It's smaller. It's more quaint. It's Walt's. It's moving on.
Right. Look, if Walt touched it, it's pretty much. Look, I think our Big Thunder is better out here if we only had the dynamite scene.
Which is why, hopefully, after the refurb, maybe that's the
I
second
will
thing
take
that's
our
better
goat over that Disneyland goat any day of the week.
All right, let's move on. Let's head to Disney Springs, because we could talk about that all night.
We could,
there's
man.
a Snow White food truck that showed up, or is it a Snow White Joffrey's coffee truck? What is this that showed up at Disney Springs this week?
It's exactly it. It's a Snow White Joffrey's snack and coffee truck that showed up for the premiere of Snow White and stuck around all last weekend. I don't know if it's returning this weekend. Yeah, they had new Evil Queen coffee, but Sam, I don't like an apple flavor to my coffee. I just, if I'm drinking an apple flavor,
I'd like that either.
It's got to be, if it's a warm apple, it's got to be cider or mulled wine. Like, not in my coffee.
Yeah, okay, I'm good with that.
The drink we did have was a lemonade and apple with these little green apple bursts. What do you call this? Boba balls.
Yes.
And it was extra sweet. It was like kiwi, apple, and lemonade, and it really was good. Just sweet, very sweet.
Really cool.
But they had donuts for sale. They had a lot of apple treats. Yeah, I mean, all of Disney Springs went Snow White last weekend.
Okay, and you know what? It'll all be Stitch in a month. So there you go.
Yeah.
Interesting to see if this comes back. This truck comes back with a new wrap around it. But yeah, we'll see.
It's not coming back.
Little Mermaid merchandise. I think that you were at Disney Springs, but there's, Little Mermaid.
It is at Disney Springs. This was actually at Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
Life is the Bubbles, Sam. That's the collection. Life is the Bubbles.
Life is the Bubbles collection. And I'm good with it. Sure. No problem.
It is actually a collection by Cake Worthy, which is in partnership with Disney Parks and Disney Animation to put out this this line, and it really looks, it's really a nice line, and it's not too expensive either. So yeah, there's the dress that's available that features Ariel, Sebastian, and Flounder. You have the button-up shirt, which I love. On the collar, it has Ariel's signature, and then Flounder and Ariel are featured on the front pocket of the button-up shirt, and it says "Life is the Bubbles" on the back. And then there's a cardigan that has "Life is the Bubbles" with the trumpeter or the announcer who does that. And now he announces King Triton, and he announces Sebastian, who has like 10 middle names. Like Sebastian,
I remember. See, I
Horatio.
thought it was the Blowfish at first because all I'm hearing is
Yeah,
love it.
no, that's the seahorse. And then on the back of that, of course, is Ariel and Flounder underwater. It's a great collection, and there's some good merchandise coming out. And one of the other things that we probably are not going to talk about very much, but I'm going to bring it up anyway.
Okay.
Disney Consumer Products got a brand new vice president.
Oh, yes.
And he has been a designer of clothing for many, many years. His designs are fabulous, and I can't wait to see him implement his style into the Disney parks merchandise.
It may take a little time, but I'm sure we'll see it.
I guarantee you. But as of right now, this is a good collection.
So you were at Hollywood Studios when you noticed this, which makes sense for our next images because almost like you knew the announcement was coming, you have a bunch of pictures of Sunset Showcase, which is where the Lightning McQueen attraction was. And you took some pictures because the cars that were part of the DJ setup are gone. They're sort of cleaning things up. Of course, we don't know what's going on inside of that building. We're sure it's way along, but they're starting to make some changes outside.
Yeah, I mean, they got to put in a ton of seating into that theater over there. That Lightning McQueen experience was pretty in depth and a lot of space in there. Yeah, so Cruz Ramirez and the DJ car.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Yeah. They're all their memorabilia. Everything's down. They're gone. They have left the building, basically.
Yes.
They are Elvis.
They have left.
But yeah, all the like everything's coming down. I guarantee you, if we go over this week, the Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy sign that is over top of Sunset Showcase will be gone. They did cover up and put up some scrim in between Rock and Roller Coaster and the building to kind of keep people from who go up on the second level as you're walking up to not have to peer over and see them doing a lot of construction over there.
Exactly the same thing they did when they were building Lightning McQueen. I remember. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's getting ready, man. I mean, the hype is real. We are exactly 2 months away from the opening day. And there's a lot of work to be done. So
there's a lot of work. I love that you also grabbed one of those pictures that you're going to need eventually. It's the Rock and Roller Coaster, the guitar with the Aerosmith sign behind it, because, we're just a matter of time of hearing about this refurb when at least the Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith logo disappears and the poster's gone. No idea.
And you're going to see, I hope you see a giant Dr. Teeth on that guitar playing the keyboard below it.
I mean, does that guitar become tie-dyed or something? Who knows?
I think the coloring changes. That guitar is not being removed.
I would agree. But yeah, tie-dyed with some Muppets there.
Yeah.
I got no problem with that. That'll be awesome.
It's a simple fix, and it's a quick update. They don't have to go crazy on that, but yeah, I just, this is one of the last few times you're going to be able to really see this marquee the way it is. And in 20 years, we're going to be like, you remember that time that there was Rock and Roller Coaster starring that guy who went
continuing in Hollywood Studios, you headed back to Toy Story Land. And look, this area near Andy's Lunchbox, which, by the way, Toy Story, since it opened, had been criticized for having a lack of shade. It's just in the sun, and in the summertime, it's beating down, whether you're in line for Slink Dog or trying to eat something over at Andy's Lunchbox. They are building
Woody's
Lunchbox. I'm sorry. Is it Woody's Lunch? I thought it's Andy's Lunchbox that's set.
No, you're in Andy's backyard, but it's Woody's Lunchbox.
I see. I had thought Andy just left his lunchbox in the backyard, and they turned it into that. But
yeah,
and at the lunchbox, there's some shade that's being constructed. See what I did there?
I'm with you. Yeah,
What?
so
So
they are building shade finally over where you could sit down. There's two things lacking: shade and seating. There's
yes,
not a lot of
agree.
seating over there. There's not a lot of shade because look, you can't have if you were going to have trees there, you would have to transplant redwoods from California for
Yeah,
them
there's
to
just a
fit in
lot of
with the
space.
theming around here. The
That's right.
trees right now, they're basically like little pieces of grass, so you don't get a lot of shade. So over at Woody's Lunchbox, they're still building it, but they're actually adding a roof over top of everything. And they're theming it really well. I mean, look, you can see the toy soldiers up top, which have been there
Oh,
for a
they're on
while.
lookout. They're on lookout for
Yeah.
Andy. I love it.
Yeah. So we'll see what eventually comes, but I think they're going to be adding fans and trying to cool that area down because I don't think there's a hotter spot in all of Walt Disney World during the summer.
Maybe over in Animal Kingdom, someplace you could
Maybe.
find one. But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I avoid Toy Story Land during the summer.
Yeah, it's brutal. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to wait for a Slink Dog.
No.
So leaving Hollywood Studios, apparently you went through the boardwalk and took a couple of pictures over the boardwalk on your way to Epcot, I'm going to assume.
Man, where do I
Construction,
not go?
yeah, exactly. Construction at the boardwalk continues.
Yep.
There are 3 stores next to each other. We talked about it. It's the Screen Door, the Character Carnival, and then the Thumb and Thimble, I think, is the last one. There is a blog at Sam's Disney Diary. There's some pictures before and after. They're changing the aesthetics. It's much brighter. There's more space, so there's less shelves.
I
It's
want to
a
say,
newer aesthetic.
Sam,
It looks good.
that those are the last pictures you sent me before the next pictures at the hospital.
Yeah, that could be. That absolutely could be. It's very possible because that makes sense.
Yeah,
Now,
you were
you, my
just down
friend,
here. I mean, you were in there and you got to take pictures of the inside and see how nice it really looks.
yeah, well,
And
because
it
there's
does look.
3.
They're doing the same thing there that they're doing everywhere else. They're doing
Yes.
new flooring everywhere. So over at the Emporium, it looks almost just like the flooring here.
Okay.
So
Yeah, as they
it's
just
all being
section it
updated.
off and
Yeah, get rid
change
of
the
the
floor.
carpet.
Yeah, put in the vinyl laminate or whatever it
Yep,
is that
easier to
yeah,
clean.
absolutely easier to clean, easier to maintain. It's not you don't need rug cleaners. You just yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
New merch, by the way, love this. New Pez dispensers have showed up. Now, I do have to ask you if these are all over the park or just in specific places, but we have a Figment Pez dispenser and a Hatbox Ghost Pez dispenser. Love this.
So I was able to find them at 2 different locations, and I
Okay.
know of a third that they are at. So I found them originally. These pictures are from Disney Springs at the Candy Cauldron,
Okay.
which is perfect. I don't know why they have the Disney dining plan thing still up there for Pez. Maybe you can buy them as snacks.
Okay.
Um, But also at Hollywood Studios, they are available at the Five and Dime, and then I know that they're for sale over Creation Shop in Epcot.
Okay.
So
Love
I
it.
would imagine they're at every park and probably pretty much anywhere candy is sold. But yeah, we have this is the first time we've seen new Disney Parks Pez in a while. The
Yes.
last time we had Disney Parks Pez was like Toy Story characters, and then your normal Mickey, Minnie, Goofy,
Sure.
Pluto, Donald, Daisy, Chip, Dale.
It's been a while. I love this.
Yeah.
By the way, $4.49. Taking
Not
annual
bad.
pass discount off of that. Not bad at
Yup.
all.
Yeah,
Uh,
when you have an annual pass, it was like $3.39 or something like that. It was pretty cheap.
it's pretty darn good. And by the way, do not buy them on eBay for $20.
No, have a friend down here and get them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, at Epcot, let's go over to Living with the Land because what they started doing last year, I think it was last year, during the Flower and Garden Festival,
Yeah.
is dressing up parts of Living with the Land to be inspired by Disney princesses. Let's call it that.
That works great. We rode this on day one of Flower and Garden Festival. We did know that there was going to be not a retheme, but an addition to where the greenhouse is. When we rode it the first day, all we did was see the Moana boat. You didn't see the sails that you see in the top right corner.
I love
You
that.
didn't see some of the other stuff that was available. And you got to see this. You got to see Princess and the Frog. There's a Beauty and the Beast section that was not up there on day one. And then where there is the Tangled section, it was just paintings, and they've since added a whole lot more. So now Moana has there's a bunch of sails, and the sails have the Epcot symbols on them, and then the Moana symbol on them. There is her oar that is there, and
I love it.
it's all fruit and tropical look to it. There
Yep.
is the veggie garden, which is from Princess and the Frog, and it's what she makes her gumbo out of. And
All right, I missed that one. That's the one that I wasn't exactly sure, because you could tell the roses in a single rose under a glass. You know that's Belle and Beauty and the Beast.
Yep. Yeah.
The next image you had here, you could tell. Well, no, this one I'm not sure.
So, well, you can tell by the
Pascal.
Yes, by the lantern, you absolutely know that this is Tangled just by that flower sun, celestial sun, whatever they call it. But that is absolutely Tangled. The cool thing about this, Sam, and it took me 2 rides, and I did it back to back because I like to torture my soul. There is hidden Pascals. Like, you go over to Magic Kingdom and you go to Rapunzel's bathroom. And there's 10 Pascals over there. Well, over here, it's a smaller version. There's 5 hidden Pascals in the ending scene of Living with the Land, and Pascal blends in. This one, you could see he's on a painting orange square, so he's a chameleon, and he blends right in. He blends into a book. He blends into the pink flower in the other one. He turns into a
I did see the tower here,
green.
I saw the tower. That jumped out at me. I got more pictures of your Pascals here.
Yeah, and then
right here on the flower pot. Come on, you can't even see him there. He's blue.
I know.
The flower pot's blue.
Yeah,
and over here,
and of course, there's Flynn Rider's satchel with. I don't know what the apples have to do with it. We'll just go.
He was carrying some apples around.
Yeah, he was definitely not carrying apples around in that satchel.
Hey, Lily, good to see you. Glad you made it.
Hey, welcome.
Things are good in Michigan. All right, from there, what is up with the ducks over at Soarin'?
Sam, you know me. I have a thing about birds of the day between Rory and myself. These were the official birds of the day last week outside of Soarin', where they used to have that desk right there. And I think they were selling merchandise, if I am correct.
It was merch not long ago. Before the pandemic, it was merchandise for sure.
Yeah, and it's just been an empty table since. And there was a cast member who, part of the custodial staff, and he was just sitting there making figures. And he had a Mickey Mouse he made, and then he just started making ducks, and he just kept on going at making ducks. And so we have a family of ducks, man.
Okay, a family of duck towels, no problem there. New Spirit jerseys. Where did you catch these new jerseys?
Disney Springs Marketplace Co-op. They are also available at all the parks.
And they're somewhat themed, and you had mentioned it before. It's sort of like one is all attractions. Is that right?
Yeah, we have attractions at Walt Disney World. We have characters at Walt Disney World, your normal Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Olaf. And then we have a Disney Princess one. And then we have an Animal Kingdom one.
And front and back, you can see the Animal Kingdom one here.
And I think one of them is out, actually says Magic Kingdom across the back instead of Walt Disney World.
Yes, love that.
But there it is, yeah. And that is all attractions at Magic Kingdom. I mean, you see Muriel, Orange Bird, Mickey Mouse, Cinderella Castle's there. Dumbo is there. Of course, you see there you go. I mean, it's Disney World on a Spirit jersey, on 4 Spirit jerseys.
Right, love it.
Yeah, these Spirit jerseys, man, people love them. Just love them.
That's why they keep making them.
Nope.
That's exactly.
And that's why we get specific ones down here for Magic Kingdom, and we need an Epcot one next.
I'm sure it's in the works someplace. Speaking of Epcot, like that segue, you, my friend, made it over there bright and early the day that the Easter popcorn bucket and the Eggstravaganza dropped. So your Thumper popcorn bucket, which I have a feeling you have with you right there.
I do. I just dropped part of it. That's
uh-oh.
So I'm trying to get my ear to go back in. No, I forgot how my ear goes in. Hold on one second.
You didn't break it. So the Thumper popcorn bucket, 24
No, and I'll tell you how I didn't break it. There you go, Sam. There is the Thumper popcorn bucket. Look how cute that guy is.
It's bigger than I thought.
It is much bigger than I thought. I mean, look, just for you, There's a banana
for scale. Remember this? The banana's about 7 inches. That looks almost 2 bananas tall, almost.
It's almost 2 bananas tall. So we're going to go with about 13 inches
Yeah.
for this. And then, of course, in the back is where he opens up for his popcorn. What I love about him is these ears are not the normal plastic that you feel. These are rubberized.
Oh,
so you can
wow.
actually get a great grip on this. And yeah, man,
I did not expect that.
It is. Listen, if you don't use it for a popcorn bucket, you know what you use it for? It is a great Easter decoration.
Sure. Absolutely. That's what it is.
Yeah, I just dropped that. And you know what I dropped was my
that is coming up next. So
Eggstravaganza.
there's a picture of your Thumper
Oh,
near the
so anyway,
Thumper.
Thumper, $24. It sold out a little bit on day one, but Disney had more off-site. They just had to truck them in, and they brought in another truckload of them. And by 11 o'clock, they had sold out at the front popcorn stand by Creation Shop. At 11 o'clock, all the other popcorn stands opened up. Canada by Figment and in American Pavilion, American Adventure. And the rest of the day, they had them for $24. And man, I did not expect the line and the reception that I saw for this popcorn bucket. It was out of control, man.
It's been a long time. And now let's think back, because I was surprised and I had expected this would be at the Odyssey and available only with mobile ordering. That's what I
Correct.
expected to be the case. But you
Should've.
sent me a picture of the line from the first popcorn bucket just past Creation Shop that went way back towards the entrance of EPCOT. And I thought, what are they doing? This looks like the original Figment bucket. Why is this not mobile order?
Why on day one was it not mobile order? I think they figured because they were going to be selling them at all the popcorn stands that the lines would spread out. They don't realize that. I'm going to be me for a second, Sam. All the wonderful scalpers and eBayers who show up first thing in the morning and want to buy them to resell them as quick as they can, and so that was what was in line. But look, I'm not complaining. That's their thing. It's cool.
Exactly.
Regular people absolutely were able to do it. I loved that they were on the cruise. You know what really got me on the cruise was the Death Star popcorn bucket, and I'm hoping by next week we can talk about the Death Star popcorn bucket.
I hope so
they were
too.
both available on the Disney Wish for the last week and a half.
I love that. Which, by the way, Scott, thanks for joining us. And yes, I know you were out there on that cruise, and it would have been awesome to get one of these. That's always the issue when you're traveling. Where do I put this popcorn bucket? How am I going to get it home? I usually figure it out, but sometimes it's like, man, I got one too many bags. But the popcorn bucket was just part of what dropped earlier this week. Greg, you also participated in the Eggstravaganza 2025, which is the Easter egg hunt. Now, we're not going to go into where all of these are. If you want the spoilers, you head over to fantasylandnews.com and you will find an article that'll tell you where they all are. What I want to do is focus on a couple of things. One, what the completer was and how much this thing was. So give me a little details on this. Oh,
so
with you.
Of course I have one. Let's see if I can get up close.
Yes.
There he is. And then I want to show you the back.
Oh, wait a minute. Scott did pick up the Death Star on the Fantasy. We want that. We absolutely want that.
Greatest popcorn bucket I've ever seen. And
if
if there's one thing I know, Sam, it's
limit to one. Lily's got it. One popcorn bucket because you can't carry them. You have no way of getting them home.
Scott, how did you get the Death Star back? Like, you had to box that thing up, I'm sure.
That I'm getting home.
That I'm going to send to you.
So that is the back of the.
Yep.
Is that the back of the map? Or are we looking at those?
No,
are
you're
all
looking at this is the back. This is the rewards.
Okay,
so you get to choose between one of 6 of these for completing it.
And I think I have an image you took of all 6 of those. So look like it's Mickey, Minnie,
Chip, Dale,
and the White
Rabbit, and Thumper.
And Thumper.
This is Thumper's day, man. Thumper is everywhere.
Thumper is everywhere, and Thumper is one of the eggs to look for, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
I did have a couple of the images you took, but not where they are.
Yeah, again, if you would like to know exactly where they are, I have
So
it broken down into two different things. You can just list, here's the egg that goes to the country, and then I have a more detailed, hey, here's where you find it in that country. But
right.
yeah, man, look,
And by the way, now
here's
we know
Thumper.
Scott's secret. The secret's out because I've done the same thing before, Greg. You wear a few extra sweatshirts on the way
Oh,
home so you have more
yes,
room in the
Sam, you know
bag.
this one.
That's what you have to do. I mean, if you have to wear 3 sweatshirts, you look, way bigger than you really are, but
It's
there's room in the bag now.
planes are cold, right? Sir, why do you have 3 pair of pants on?
There's
Don't ask.
Thumper. We don't have to talk about where he is. And this is who is
March
this?
Hare. March Hare.
March Hare, of
Yeah,
course.
from Alice in Wonderland. They have 2 from Alice in Wonderland. There's some really deep cuts on this, Sam. Obviously they have, and this is, let's start at the beginning. This is the egg hunt at EPCOT. They are in
Yes.
World Showcase only.
Thank
right?
you.
They are 99% outdoors, except for the one at the Odyssey Pavilion that is indoor, but the rest
Okay.
are outside in gardens. They are all on the ground this year, but they are
All on the
all
ground except for one that's inside. Okay.
right. They are all themed to Disney rabbits. So if you
And that
think
makes
of
sense.
Disney
It's
rabbits,
Easter egg. Yeah,
right? So you have Oswald the Lucky Rabbit,
of course.
Thumper, obviously. Thumper's love interest, her name, Miss Bunny.
What?
Yeah. White Rabbit and March Hare are from Alice in Wonderland. Skippy is from Robin Hood. Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh. And of course,
All right, here
Sam,
we go.
I had to bring this up to you. There's Bean Bunny.
There is Bean Bunny. I love
Yeah.
that.
And then you have Alakazam, which is from Pixar's Presto. Like, that's a deep cut right there.
That is a deep cut. That's almost as deep as Bean Bunny to a lot of people.
My favorite, Jackalope. What is Jackalope from? Come on, Sam.
I don't know, dude. What is
Pixar's
Jackalope?
Boundin'.
Okay. I was going to
About the
say one of
sheep
the
that keeps getting sheared, and this
I was going to
it's
say
so
Target in Toy
good.
Story Mania.
Oh, I love the Jackalope. I love Boundin'. Man, I could sing that song and watch that short all the time. It is so old school Disney. It's not even funny.
That's great.
So
Judy
yeah,
Hopps
and then Judy Hopps,
Duck and
and
Bunny.
then Ducky and Bunny. Man, it's the perfect egg hunt, and it's fun. It'll look. You're going around World Showcase anyway. You grab this map for $9.99. If you have an annual pass holder, it's like $7.49. I paid $8.29 for this. You can pick up the prize as you pick up the map. They'll just write completed on there. As you can see up top in the bow, it says complete.
Yeah, that basically means you have your prize. Don't come back.
Right. And you could do that, and you can do Spike's scavenger hunts all at the same time.
Sure. Are they near each other? Are
Some,
they?
I'm not giving it away, but some may be near, some are not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the completed for you, and you don't have to complete it when you pick it up. But
yeah,
Mr. Fortenmar, sorry about your loss. I see that there. Prayers with everybody involved for certain. Sorry about that.
Wow.
And Lily, yes, carry an extra bag. Carry an extra bag for the suitcase. I have one of those that zip up and they look little, and then it just opens up, and all of a sudden I have another carry-on. That works.
So, yeah, we're. I mean, between that, then look, we're not too far off from May the 4th and Easter down here, and that Star Wars popcorn. But listen, I'm going to tell you this right off. Look, I'm at Hollywood Studios all the time. The scavengered Stormtrooper popcorn bucket that was restocked.
Yes.
Was completely restocked at Hollywood Studios. They have removed every single one of them. There is no popcorn bucket for sale at Hollywood Studios other than the regular generic popcorn bucket.
The
which means
refillable bucket.
They have removed all the stock because they're bringing something in. What are they bringing in?
Something for May the 4th. We hope it's a Death Star.
So look, fingers crossed that we get a Death Star because that is the coolest.
It is. And by the way, that's, if it hadn't been for my injury, I would be on my way to Disneyland for Seasons of the Force, which starts Friday night this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of stinks. Let's continue at Epcot because we got a little bit of news around that Canada mystery that you've been trying to solve. What is going on in Canada? What are they building? You figured it out.
Tim, I have been watching this for a year and a half now.
You have
I
been.
watched it open, I watched it closed. I watched it open, I watched it closed. And then finally it just closed. And next thing you know, there's permits being filed for new signage to be installed. They're working inside. New windows are going into place. Like they're doing some massive work in here. And finally, Disney Vacation Club made the big announcement that what this is going to be is this is going to be the first time inside of a Disney park, a DVC room showcase and sales building. So if you're looking to want to do a tour of a DVC room, they will have one fully set up in there. They will have all the information about DVC. And listen, if you are going to buy DVC, this is where you do it. You bring me along and you add me as your friends and family.
So for those of you listening, this is the building in Canada when you walk up the steps and you look straight ahead, just past the trading post and the Northern Lights Mercantile, I think.
Hotel du Canada.
Hotel du Canada, yes.
Yeah.
Now here, I got it.
Go ahead.
While you were saying that, Greg, I connected a couple of dots because today, if you were standing in Canada and wanted to go to a DVC showcase, do you know where you would go, the closest one?
Showcase, you would go out to BoardWalk.
Yes, you would go to the BoardWalk, and
Yeah.
you would immediately realize that that particular show building is an older design and an older style.
Right.
So if you put this in Canada and you built the newest and the greatest and the latest room layout, which they've incorporated since BoardWalk was built, this means what's between those stores that are being built and Jelly Rolls? That's the DVC showcase. If
Right.
you were to close that DVC showcase, you can now open up all of that room to extend what used to be Jelly Rolls when it closes and the Big River Barbecue. You now have an incredible amount of space to do something big at the BoardWalk on the opposite end of where ESPN used to be.
Sam, you are sunshine and daisies and rainbows on this because I hope
No, I'm not going to say they need a sports
a
bar.
year and a half or 2 years from now when we're still doing this show that you can sit back and go, I told you so. And I will
coming.
eat crow that day and go, you know what, Sam? My mistake.
Something's coming. Big River is closed. Jelly Roll's moving out. Between those two things is an existing DVC showroom. Get that out of there. There's a lot of space on that ground floor for
That's
retail,
a lot of space.
for restaurant, for I don't know what.
All convention.
Convention space, dude. It could be.
Or it's shops and stuff for convention goers. Like
I love that idea.
I don't think the BoardWalk is anymore going to be open for public stuff. I think
completely agree.
They are shutting it down to the public and they are making it more corporate.
Well, they're not. I don't know that they're shutting it down to the public. Let me give an example.
Not closing it.
Well, no. Here's what I mean. They do the BoardWalk Carnival still happens every evening.
Right.
They have jugglers, they have acrobats, they have the people that get up on the chairs that are 5 levels tall and it looks crazy. Your BoardWalk acts, but they don't publicize where or when those happen because they don't want a crowd of people coming from off property of the BoardWalk. It's
because that's the only
nighttime
nighttime entertainment at Disney World.
Besides Disney Springs. But there was a point, Greg, when they would advertise the BoardWalk Entertainment Complex in the same breath that they advertised the old Downtown Disney. Right. Come to these places and be entertained and spend money and play games on the boardwalk and rent the Surrey bike and go around. And it's just a changing dynamic. And it's interesting
and park for free.
You're not going to do that anymore.
Nope. You can't get there, man.
Let's go back into Epcot because there have been some changes in the manatee exhibit. You and I talked at length about the manatees and the dolphins being removed. Now, what they've done, what the Living Seas has done, is they're participating in a rehabilitation center for manatees. So they're getting
Short
these
term.
manatees
Yeah,
short
it
term.
is
Yes.
short term recovery.
Yes.
Not emergencies, but for their recovery thing. So there is you have two manatees that have been over there for a little while. And I forget their names. They were just up, but yeah. Now they Cider and
Cider and
Mino.
Mino?
Yeah.
Mino
They were
tea.
joined by a brand new mermaid manatee, manatee named Mermaid. Yeah, manatee named Mermaid, mermaid named Manatee or something. It is
What?
new manatee named Mermaid. And the reason it's named Mermaid is because I'm not the greatest image, but if you look at the top right corner of the manatee, you will notice that there is a split in the tail, like a mermaid's tail.
Right.
That
Oh,
is not normal. No, that's goofy.
that's the next slide.
That's not right.
That's not it. Right
Did
here.
you just call that mermaid a goofy? Anyway.
In an indirect way, I think I did.
Yeah. Anyway, so that tail is normally flat and or curved. That unfortunately, Mermaid the manatee had a boat strike and
Yeah.
the propeller got into. So Mermaid is healing and recovering here at Disney World. And again, this is short term. It'll only be there for about a month or 3 months, and then they try and release it back into the wild. If not, it goes back up to a facility that can better hold them for a longer care.
Which is good. I mean, I
Yeah.
have no problem.
Look, these guys, I mean, it's so cool seeing this. This just means that we're going to be cycling through. We're not going to have the same ones in Indigo and whoever else was here. Yeah, that's
okay.
fine.
I got no problem with
And
that.
they're doing more of the conservation effort. They're trying to get them back into the wild.
We got to go rapid fire if we're going to get through these
Let's
next
go.
things. So let's go. Goofy movie 30th anniversary merchandise has hit. There is in the what's coming to Disney Plus in April, a Goofy movie documentary is one of the things on the list. I think it's mid-April. I can't wait to watch that, but it's an inside look at the making of the Goofy movie. Looks great, and there's some new merchandise that's come out.
Certainly has. Next.
Coco 2.
I hate Goofy movie.
I'm okay with Powerline. I'm fine with it. Did you get the Powerline popcorn bucket?
Nope. I don't like Max
2.
Goof. Why would I get Max Goof? I don't want Max Goof in my house. I like James Marsden. I don't like Max Goof.
Coco 2 was announced by Bob Iger during that was during the annual shareholder meeting. They had about a 15-minute long prepared remark where Bob went over all of the things that the company did in 2024 and looking forward to the future. And he announced Coco 2 is in development, very early development. And by the way, that full presentation is on the YouTube channel at Sam's Disney Diary. You could watch Mr. Iger talk about all the cool things they did.
It's a good presentation.
It's good. Yeah. It talks about a lot of things. Snow White, hit or miss at the box office.
Sam, it's fine.
It's fine. I think the box office results were the same for the first weekend. It did not do what people thought it would do.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't do better or worse than either. It was fine. It was
fine. I think Lilo and Stitch is going to do better.
There's issues with it, and then there's some spectacular parts of it. So it's fine. I don't want to go any.
Disney had to have known they couldn't make everybody happy.
I'm so over it. I'm over hearing people pro and con it. It's fine.
All right, then move on.
Take your kids and go see a Disney movie.
Move on. How about that? Weird Science. Weird Disney. Weird Disney. That is
Dude,
tomorrow.
I saw a preview of this kind of when I was down here for Hallow Scream when they did the presentation, and they did a behind the scenes Weird Disney, and we got some of the pictures from that, which they showed weird characters. They showed how certain characters look, just the weird stuff Disney does. Tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Western time. Do your own time zone in between that.
You can stream this if you are a gold member. Awesome.
These archives are great.
They are. They're fun. Let's head to
DisneyMadness.com. And they just announced a new
DisneyMadness.com.
one, by the way.
Awesome. Can't wait to watch it. DisneyMadness.com, Attraction Madness 2025. We are in our final four. Give me just 1 minute and I will bring up the details here so we can go through exactly what has happened.
Talk about a lot of news today, man. Jeez.
There was a ton of news today. So I am at DisneyMadness.com. If you go to DisneyMadness.com, it's going to drop you into a bracket. In the top left corner, you hit Vote Now. Last week, we were at the Elite 8. Earlier today, we finalized our results to move on to the Final
Which,
Four.
by the way, I was watching people were actually hitting my website because I have a link to all this on my website. So I was watching people come in and click through that. So thank you all so much. If you voted, we appreciate it, but you're down to the last one. So get your last votes in.
Yes, get your last vote in because voting has started for the Final Four. We're going to go through that in a second. But I wanted to go back to when we started, when we had 64 different attractions that all went up to each other, 64 to 32 to 16 to 8 to now 4. And when we started that, Greg, if you remember, I said the top 4 seated attractions, none of them were in the Magic Kingdom. And then after that, like 8 in a row were in the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
And it's interesting that in our Elite 8 or our Final 4 matchups, we had the top 4 were all not Magic Kingdom, and what they're going against were Magic Kingdom. So we had a situation where we could have a Final 4 of just Magic Kingdom attractions or no Magic Kingdom attraction at all, which I thought was interesting.
And so what did we end up with, Sam?
So we ended up with, in our first bracket, we had Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind versus Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, Guardians is just running away with this thing. I think maybe we should have expected that, but Guardians took out Pirates. That's a tough one. Remember, our criteria is if you were to be dropped where you load the ride vehicle, what attraction would you go on?
Yep.
Hard to disagree. 70% Guardians of the Galaxy. So Pirates, Magic Kingdom doesn't make it. EPCOT is represented in the Final Four. In Group 2, it was Avatar Flight of Passage versus Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
Some may consider this an upset because Big Thunder beats Flight of Passage.
Yes, it did. Thank you, my people. Thank you for voting the correct way. I appreciate everyone who voted. Sam, I voted many times for this.
So our first Final Four matchup will be Guardians of the Galaxy versus Big Thunder Mountain. And that's
so tough. That's so tough.
That's tough. That's why it's Final Four matchup. So that is a EPCOT attraction versus a Magic Kingdom attraction.
Nice.
On the third round or a third bracket, it was Star Wars Rise of Resistance versus the Haunted Mansion. Another tough one.
Yeah,
it's a tough one, but I'm going to go Star Wars with this one. Haunted Mansion did well. What can I say?
Right. That's a
60% to 40%. Star Wars Rise of Resistance beats the Haunted Mansion, moves into the Final Four. And then the last bracket, Expedition Everest versus Tron Light Cycle Run. Tron Light Cycle Run moves on. So, Greg, we end up with 2 attractions.
I'm sorry, what lost?
What lost is Expedition Everest.
Oh, the ride that's broken and shouldn't have made it this
broken
far
Yeti
anyway?
did not make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, I may have voted a few times myself on that one.
So you have an Epcot versus Magic Kingdom and a Hollywood Studios versus Magic Kingdom. The Final Four is Guardians versus Big Thunder and Star Wars Rise of Resistance versus Tron.
Nice.
Greg, this sets up the Tron versus Guardians thing. We'll see what happens, but
yeah. Wow. This one's so we got to vote, Sam. You got to vote. I got to see what you're doing.
Let's vote here. So I need to manipulate this for just a second. And if you are voting at home, you head right to the top corner. You click the Vote Now button. You're going to get only 2 things to vote for here. Guardians versus Big Thunder. I'm going Guardians. Star Wars versus Tron. Wow.
Yeah. You got to go Star Wars.
I do.
And I am a Tron guy. And you still have to go Star Wars.
There you go.
If you were dropped right at the beginning of Guardians or Star Wars, both of them, you would go yes.
So there are my 3 votes. They're all in.
No justice for Disco Yeti. No justice. He's a broken attraction. No justice, no peace.
which means next week we are going to have our championship match. Pretty cool.
Yeah, this is great. It's been, and we're so grateful for all the voting out there.
Absolutely.
Go to
Thank you, guys.
DisneyMadness.com, our Attractions Madness for 2025. Go vote. Go vote. Have fun. Again, this is just for fun. It's a great time of year to do this. This is the end of college basketball season.
That's right.
So,
Absolutely. Hey, one last thing, Greg, before we go.
Yeah.
Muppets.
Oh,
Muppet magnets.
Geez, we always end with a Muppets.
Number 31.
He's number one. He's number one. You're number two. He's number one. That makes you number two.
I guess I'm surprised to see him in here, but okay.
Evil Kermit? Oh, I love Evil Kermit.
Well, he's just newer, right? But I'm good with it.
Are they saying that moles are evil? Like you just put a mole.
Apparently, yes. Well, you had to be able to tell between the real Kermit and the evil Kermit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the voice gave it away.
Well, sure. But if they're not talking, yeah. And I know somebody that has one of these already. How about that?
Yeah, look at that. And somebody will have the new one when it comes out Friday. Sam, I told you when this started 31 weeks ago.
Yes.
That Rory and I were going to collect them all, and we are at week 31, and we have all 31, and we may be one of the few people who have all of them and are not stopping.
We, as Attraction Madness wraps up and a couple of weeks go by, a couple of months, I think we need to come up with our own top 10 lists and see who's in there. I mean, from a top 10, it's got to be Kermit and Piggy and Gonzo.
No, come on. There's so many better ones.
Well, but that's what I mean. Who's going to be in that top 10?
The Muppet Mayhem, pretty much all of them.
Floyd's already been there. Floyd and Animal, we already got
there. Yeah, I mean that's tough, man. Like
Floyd and Animal, we already have. We only have one of the Muppets from space. Oh,
right.
We have Zoot too.
Yeah, Zoot's in there. Can't forget. But there's
Zoot, like Floyd and Animal.
All I want in this whole collection, I've said it I want Muppaphone. I want Muppaphone.
I'll tell you what I want.
Said it from the beginning.
I want number one to be the Jim Henson Muppet that's hanging in the rafters of Muppet Vision.
I would take that because he played in the band that when they would have like Willie Nelson on or they'd have John Denver on, he was always playing banjo or something in the back. Yeah, that puppet made it onto TV.
I love it. Justice for Disco Yeti, Scott. I'm with you. I love that. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. Next week, it is the championship match of Disney Madness. And as we leave every week, we leave with Disney Ducks.
Disney Ducks. Yeah. Hey, stay tuned, of course, to samsdisneydiary.com or on YouTube, Sam's Disney Diary. You can also get him at Sam's Disney Daily on Instagram. And you can follow along with me at Fantasyland News blog, Fantasyland News online on Fantasyland News on YouTube. Check out tomorrow, Sam. Important details, important information, breaking news on my end. I do my first Disney media event tomorrow.
That is wonderful. Can't wait. You were going to the Dreamers Academy. Is that correct?
Yeah, Disney Dreamers Academy, 18th year of that. We will be on hand and we will be updating our stories and our Instagram. Their parade down on Main Street, USA is tomorrow. We're going to meet a lot of the celebrities that are there and get to hang out with these kids. And these kids, I'm telling you, Sam, are an inspiration, and they are smart enough where I go, are the next generation that's going to be in charge is in good hands. That's
incredible. So let me ask you this. Are you going to be with us next Wednesday?
You
don't have any conflicts with your media engagement? That's what I'm asking.
No.
Nope.
This is the next 4 days.
Okay.
It's a long 4 days, Sam.
Yeah. But it's 4 days, and you'll have lots to talk about next week. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. So pay attention to that. Other than that, guys, we appreciate it. And as I'm going to end it, as I always do, and I'm going to say end of line.
Congaloosh. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Thanks for joining us. See you then.